This is Yohhamgambal. We're back playing Shadow Hearts. Last time we met the true Roger Bacon of the Shadow Hearts / Kadoka series. The Roger Bacon that we have known this whole time was actually Cardinal Albert Simon. Yes, the man that Alice and her father was supposed to initially meet on the night that her father was murdered by Albert, but called himself Roger Bacon. And of course, we learned about Albert and Roger's history. Roger was Albert's teacher. But unfortunately, some things happened with Roger where he felt there were some grave injustices in the world, and has decided to completely cleanse the world. He's decided that he wants a new start, I guess. And now we're going to meet Roger, though, in the Nematone Monastery, where, of course, Kadoka 1 happened. But apparently, though, Roger knows where Albert is. And it sounds like he might be somewhere around here. Or at least Roger has an inkling that he might be near the monastery. Now, this passageway looks really familiar, and I'm not actually sure if it is or not. Because if you remember from the first Kadoka game, at the end of the game, we had to go into a passage. We had to go underground to set the tree on fire. The tree and the vines that was entangling the whole monastery. And this kind of looks like the well where we threw Daniel's arm in and blew up the place with kerosene and fire. I don't know if it is the same place, but it seems very familiar because the passageway had on top there was a tomb that was covering it, and then when you unlocked it, it moved back, very similar to just what happened now. And I think maybe the tomb on top just got blown open, was just blown completely off, while the underside was still safe, keeping this locked. But I don't remember there being a door, because there's a door in here. I don't remember there being a door in there, but maybe we just missed it. I don't know. Could be a completely different place at the monastery, though, that we haven't visited. It's very possible. It's a very huge place. That's a very good way of putting it, Yuri. It's like, I guess you would say the chakra points of the earth. Now, the funny thing is, well, I'll say it after this. I don't want to interrupt Robert. All right, thank you, Robert. One of the things that is kind of funny, and I guess has delved a little more into the later games, is as Roger mentioned, he talked about the Judgment Wheel. But the thing that's interesting about it is, before this point, I don't know if the Judgment Wheel was ever kind of set up as something that the other characters saw or noticed. I'm not super sure. Also, Roger can heal you. He's a free heal, so he's really nice. So I'm not really sure if the Judgment Wheel is actually like later on in the games, there is actually kind of a physical representation of the Judgment Wheel that we can run across. He's actually kind of a character in the other games that you can run into numerous times. But in this game, though, it's not really... I don't know if it really sets it up as it's its own little thing that the characters are aware of when they're fighting, or... Yeah. Anyways, that is a gun for of course, Margaret, but that doesn't matter because we are actually going to be getting her ultimate weapon very soon, so that gun is kind of useless. Yeah, though. So this place is actually pretty big, and this place is also where you can get a secret monster soul. But you have to, though, you have to make sure that you have the you have to make sure, yeah, so this you have to grab a special stone here before you leave this part, because if you fight the boss here without grabbing the stone, you do not get the secret demon. And it's really good. It's one of the best. It's really, really good, and in fact becomes kind of a permanent staple in the Shadow Heart series, at least in this segment. Anyways, though, here we have some enemies. This is actually not a bad place to grind. So here we have the bird creatures are the Stryaths, strange entities born from spirits within Nemeton Monastery, considered by some as a fallen angel. It is a gruesome mixture of bird, human, and plant. Yeah, it's gross. It only has 200 HP. It's a water type, and all it can do is fast ring you, so not very dangerous. And then the other enemy is, I believe, called a Sin. Yes, that is a Sin. We fought similar monsters like this before with the brains. Female ghosts that begin to appear since the monasteries burned down. They've been here for around 10 years then. She appears from the underground and disappears into the pond of the sanctuary. She speaks in a strange language. Yeah, so 240, she's a HP, she's a light attribute, and all she can do is paralyze you and use Nova. So yeah, none of the enemies here are gonna give my character any trouble. Anyways, for this puzzle, what you want to do is you want to come all the way to this path and hit that treasure chest, because on the wall there's kind of like a mural that says it wants all the treasure chests to be open. But there's a certain way you do it, and each treasure chest kind of repels the other, so you have to hit this one first and then hit one more. And then you can, I mean, you don't actually have to do this. You actually, the thing is, this is just to get all the items in here, and it's not required. You don't have to do this, but you want to hit these orbs that change, that have colors on them. They're important, especially if you want to get the secret, demon soul. Excuse me. So this enemy is Inverse. We fought these things in Kadoka. They were actually kind of annoying in Kadoka because they could do a lot of damage. Ghosts that reside in the Nemeton Monastery. For a long time, it roams around among the ruins. Now a soul. Oh, come on, now a soul that will never be saved. Yeah. So yeah, these are from the previous game too. Only 500 HP. They're Earth, and all they can do is ignition, so they can power up their physical attack. But that's about it. There's only one more new enemy in this place. We've already fought them all except for one, and of course the boss. But that's kind of, that kind of counts as its own thing. Yeah. But anyways, though, you want to make sure that you do this, because littered around this area are treasure chests that have a colored barrier, and depending on the color combination of buttons you push, the barrier, the color will change, and then the barrier will be lifted. And you want to do this because without it, you cannot get the secret item here, and without that secret item, you cannot obtain the secret demon soul for Yuri to use, and it's one of the best. It's a non-element soul, but he's very good. He's very powerful. So as you can see, the flame is now blue. So yeah, you don't have to do this, I believe. I believe this is all 100% optional. You could head straight to Albert, and be fine. And there's actually another. Let me see. Is this the? Okay, that's a better better equipment for Yuri, and I believe this is a Mind's Eye. Yes, and I am actually going to equip that to Haley. So it does take a while for me to get used to Haley's using the Mind's Eye, and in fact, it's a little confusing having two characters with Mind's Eye. Even though Haley and Yuri's Judgment Wheel is pretty similar, they're slightly different to where I can get them mixed up and then accidentally mess up on my Judgment Wheel. So you're gonna have to be a little forgiving with me, because I've gotten Yuri's down, but Haley's is taking me a little longer, and I do get it, but sometimes I mess up, so you're gonna have to forgive me. But having the Mind's Eye on Haley is actually really good. He is actually a really good physical attacker with the Mind's Eye, and when we get the higher level Fire Fusion, or we can do it right now, and use Ignition on Haley, he also gets a huge boost in power. So he's doing some serious damage, and then along with Yuri, and then if we have the right element, we can change them to anything that the enemy's weak against. We plow through bosses. I've already recorded some secret boss fights, and they actually gave me a lot of trouble when I practiced, but with this combination, I just blew through them, like no issue. It was insane. And this should be the last enemy. This should be, yeah, this is the last enemy. These are the Ginua. Unblessed life born of the Nemeton Monastery. It has intelligence but no human emotions. It acts on instinct. So it only has 210 HP. It is a dark type, and it does like to use SP lowering and Nightmare. Of course, Nightmare being a little dangerous because it can cause instant death. You know what's funny though? Yuri can actually die from instant death from like Nightmare. And for some reason, when I use Yuri, he actually does a lot. But it's funny though because when we were fighting that one, what is his name? I forgot what his name is. Kinua? No, not it's no Wagui. I always call him Wagui, Mr. W. You know, the guy with the really long stretchy arms. His game of chance, his little dance thing that was supposed to instantly kill whoever it landed on, doesn't ever kill Yuri, which is interesting. It's funny. It's interesting how that works. Yeah, so anyways, that's all the new enemies. So now we just, I was just running in the wall. Sometimes I have a hard time with the collision. I have no idea why. Anyways, there's another button up here. You're going to want to press that. And blue and red, I think, make purple? Yes, makes purple. Sorry, my colors. So yep, it gets rid of the force field. And a holy book. And this is equipment for Alice. It is her second best weapon in the game. In the next part, we will actually be getting her best weapon, but this is her second best. I like the way it looks, too. It looks like a book from hell. But yeah, though, it's pretty good. Of course, we won't be using it for very long because, like I said, we will actually be getting her ultimate weapon in the next part. Yeah, and the one nice thing is, because I know which characters I'm going to use, I'm going to put a bunch of money into upgrading their weapons. Okay, this place is important for later, but we can't deal with that well right now. We can only deal with that once we have all the treasure. Anyways, there's the purple flame. This almost looks kind of like a coliseum. Why is this under the Nemeton Monastery? This is originally a prison. I don't get this place. Anyways, there's another switch up here we need to hit. And it should turn, I think, white? I'm not sure what color it turns into. We'll have to see. I don't remember. It's green. Okay, it turns white. Okay, so now we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Remember, this was a white treasure chest. We want to grab that. And the Code of a Sage. That is, I believe, for, I believe that is for, Zuzan. It's a better armor for him, but it's not his ultimate. Again, we will get that later, but it is a better armor for him. And anyways, we're going to want to get rid of this blue button because we need that to turn yellow so that we can grab this treasure chest. The Seal of Vitality, and with that, all the treasure chests are now collected, which means you want to come back over here. If you remember, there was that giant kind of brick well. You want to come over here. Once you've collected all the treasure chests, you get a very special item. Very valuable item. And with that, we have the Destruction Stone. This is a very important special item. If you get past this part, if you beat the boss without grabbing this item, you can never get it. I mean, I think you can maybe get the item, but it would be useless at this point because you can't. It would be useless because you need to have it before you beat a certain enemy. Otherwise, it's just a useless stone. But with that though, we can actually head out. So yeah, this place is actually really quick. Even when you're collecting all the treasure. But this place is even quicker if you just decide to skip it all. But I didn't. I decided to do it. And are getting a lot of evil karma. We're getting a lot of malice there. Anyways, though, before we head on, though, we're actually going to go to the graveyard. We haven't done that in a while, but we can now get our level 2 water. That's the one spirit. Yeah, see, we've been and we can get our level 3 dark. So definitely want to get that. Our level 2 water there's just not a ton of water enemies, and when we do, I generally don't stay in an area very long. But don't worry though, we will be getting all the level 3s very shortly. Not in the next part, but I think the part after that. Anyways though, here is the level 2 water dragon. Anyways, just turn into Ifrit and just blow him up. Since he's weak to fire, and of course, you know, The tried and true combination of ignition, getting that beautiful physical buff with Mind's Eye. Yeah, it's killer. Flex for the camera. Nice. I just don't get why he has moss on him, though. It's weird. Anyways, here's the level 2 water attack that he gets. It hits all enemies, so that's nice. And of course, because he's level 2, his healing spell is better too. And so is his Mirage spell, but I don't know. I never use his evasion ability. It's not really useful. There you go. That's decent damage. Not as much as I would like. The thing is, though, I think is because the demon stats that you fight here are determined by Yuri's stats. So that's probably why it doesn't do a ton, just because Yuri's stats are pretty good. So it doesn't do more than like 200, I think, at a time. But he's almost dead, though, even with his life due. Ugly it looks, though. Summon the rains and heal me. Wow, that's a pitiful heal, though. Come on. Alice was doing that kind of stuff like in her early level 13s or something. Well, no, I don't. Actually, no, she couldn't heal that much yet. But she got there pretty fast. Anyways, though, another soul has been taken. The soul of Dragnar. But you're never really gonna see him. Sorry, I don't think I use him. I'm pretty sure I don't use him. Oh, or maybe I do. I think I actually do use him, just against a level 3 dark soul, just for fun. Doesn't take that long. There he is, Dragnar. Oh, he's Freezemeister. But yeah, though. With that, though, we can go ahead and grab the final Dark Fusion. Of course, though, to get the Dark Fusion, you need that. To get any of the level 3 demons, you need to have their corresponding gravestone. Otherwise, you are not able to collect them. And of course, this gravestone was where where we found Yuri after the 6-month hiatus, in the Blue Castle. And here he is. And for some reason, I used Dragnar. I have no idea why. I mean, I don't lose or anything, but it did make the battle a little longer than I really needed to. I have no idea why I used Dragnar. Okay, well, I guess I wanted to do something different, and there you go. That's different, I guess. But okay, yeah. I mean, I like the water fusion a lot in this game. He's just not super. Well, that's pretty decent damage. He's just not super useful, though, which is kind of an issue. Spirit Pollution, that's just stealing MP. Man, he is bulky. Look at him. He's kind of thickish. I like the way his physical attack looks, though. He's like Sonic. He like rolls into a ball. Spin dashes. So one of the things is that's actually I'll explain it later because there's no point talking about it right now. Yep. Other than that, though, that's kind of it. I think this fight's almost over. I mean, the thing is, they don't have a lot of HP, but their defenses are, I think, are a little better. I don't know how much HP they actually have. They might have the same HP as whatever level, whatever Yuri has. Because, like I said, I know their stats are determined by Yuri's stats, but I don't know to what degree their stats are. I don't know if it's corresponding to what level he is, or just what his base stats are without items or with items. And that should finish him. Or not. Okay, next Will. I don't get it. You powered up your special attack and then you didn't even use your magic, but you didn't even use it. I mean, that's fine. Slap you in the chode. There we go. Ice Dragon is victorious. And we have Cinderberg, which is a demon, and he's actually pretty. You see him a lot in the Shin Megami Tensei series, but he looks like a giant mushroom. He has like a giant mushroom on his head, and he has like a sword. Anyways, though, like I said, with that is our level 3 Dark. Of course, he does take a lot more SP to use, but he's also a lot better, but you'll probably also notice something unique. As you can see, he has, for his last ability, 4 question marks. Now, to use that, you actually need to get Yuri to go berserk. And to make Yuri to go berserk is, of course, having your SP reach 0. And when that happens, the character will use their ultimate attack, and then they'll learn it. So Yuri first needs to lose his mind before he can actually use that ability, and then he remembers it permanently. Each level 3 monster has that, so you need to lose your mind with all of them at least once to do it. And again, that is something we will deal with at another point in time. But it is something that needs to be done, and I'm not sure why I'm sitting here. Okay, I think I was thinking. That was weird. Usually I cut that out, but I guess I missed it this time. Sorry about that, but that's okay. Give me a little time to explain myself. I need to buy more. I do buy more items soon, but there's definitely a little more stingy on items in this run through. Anyways, though, the seal of strength. We haven't used like the seals once. I think they're okay. And a punk jacket. Okay, and that is for Haley. Actually, it's his second best armor, I believe. His best armor is, yeah, it's his second best armor. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of it cuts wind damage in half, which is really that useful because he's a wind type, so he takes neutral damage from it. But okay, the back of the jacket looked kind of like an Arbok. You know how Arbok, like, depending on what region it's in, its hood looks a little different. That's always a really cool feature. Anyways, and I finally put the Mind's Eye on Haley. And again, I'm gonna have to apologize. I didn't practice at all with Haley's Mind Eye, so it's gonna be a little rough in the beginning, but it does pay off. It does pay off soon. So again, you're gonna have to forgive me for my shoddy performance with Haley's Mind Eye, and then even it starts messing up my Mind's Eye with Yuri a little bit too. But it's okay. I get back to the swing of things pretty quickly. I wonder if Patrick knew about this place. I feel like there's a good chance he did know about this place. It's probably where a lot of his experiments took place. But again, you know, I'm not really sure how much Patrick... Again, because Patrick did a bunch of experimentation and slaughtering people to put in the cauldron. I'm not sure if he knew about this or was able to get past the judgment wheel door. So yeah. Let's go up the stairs. And here we go. It is time to fight Albert, finally. But this time, we're not going to be taken down so easily. So yes, we have to fight Albert. He is a dark type, and he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He really likes to use an ability that depletes a shit ton of your SP, so you have to be careful. Anyways, though, we're using Ignition. We're going to hit him hard and fast. Yeah, though, he can be a little tricky, but he's not too hard. So yeah, just hit him really hard and fast. It's not a bad idea to get all your characters to use Alice's Holy Edge or whatever to turn them on to light physical attacks. Anyways, this is the attack I'm talking about. He likes to summon this sarcophagus or whatever. And, yeah, it's kind of annoying. Can take quite a bit of SP off your characters. So yeah, okay, and here I'm gonna start using. So yeah, I'm bad at it. I'm sorry. Don't worry, I get better. But 170 for a regular attack is actually pretty damn good. Especially for a neutral attack, for a neutral damaging attack that hasn't been buffed yet with Ignition. That's pretty damn good. But again, I am kind of bad with it at the beginning, but I do get better, so you're gonna have to forgive me. It doesn't make the battle last that much longer, though. Yeah, see, I start messing up with Yuri a little bit. But damn, look at that, 600 man. Woo, that's nice. And he's got to watch out because he does like to use Revelation, which is a really strong dipe. Dipe? What the hell's dipe? I'm sorry, a dark type move, which actually didn't really do that much. Huh. Okay. I don't know why, but it's kind of funny that he's getting shot with a slingshot. Anyways, thank goodness we have Arc. Arc is such an amazing move. Cost a lot of MP, but my goodness, being able to fully heal your whole party is such a boon. Especially since we haven't been able to do that. The only character that could actually do that is Yuri for the longest time with his light spirit form. And even then, it wasn't full health. It would just heal some health. But it was the only one that could heal everybody. Yeah, that damage is rocking. But this is the real part of the fight. Amon. Which, of course, I think Amon is a god of destruction. Anyways, he will summon Amon, which is actually pretty... it's a non-elemental creature. He has 4,000 HP. And he likes to do a bunch of different things. He likes to do that move called Demon Rays, which can do a lot of single neutral damage to one enemy. But the real danger, though, is his Atomic Dust. That is where he gets a little dangerous. So yeah, though. So, demon that appears in King Solomon's Book of Magic, Limicton. A violent, evil, and cruel soul. Its appearance signifies the end of the world. If I believe correctly, I believe King Solomon's book, that book, is specifically a book about demonology. I'm not super sure on that, but from what I remember, it's a book about demonology. That book is actually an important key item in the next game, so I should probably read up about that more so I can kind of have a better idea about what it is. Excuse me, or is it the third game? Might be the third game that is important. I don't remember which one, I'm sorry. Anyways, even with the neutral damage he's taking, though, he's still, yeah. You gotta be careful, though, because his physical attack is actually, yeah, he can do over 100 damage with just his first attack, and then, you know, if he combos you into 3, he can deal maybe around 300? It's kind of dangerous. Not to mention, though, the first fight did leave Alice's and Haley's SP in kind of a rough position, so you got to make sure you heal that up, because you don't want them to go. You don't want them to go. You don't want them to go berserk. You kind of need them to attack and heal. And don't need to use Arc because it'd be a waste of a lot of MP. But I don't think it will fully heal Haley, just because it's not as strong as Arc, since Arc will always fully heal. But 306 ain't bad, though. And Haley can heal, too. Haley's got actually pretty decent healing. His healing's actually pretty damn good. It's nice that I have 2 healers. But yeah, as you can see, Amon really isn't that big of a deal if you're... I feel like if you go physical, most enemies and bosses in this game don't have a great way to counteract it. There's the Demon Ray again. That Demon Ray, though, does do a lot of damage. You gotta be careful. And gotta use a Pure Leaf on a Haley. No choice. He's gonna go berserk next turn, so... And then Alice can just use Arc, or... I don't remember if I make her use Arc or heal. Because Cure won't Because if I use Cure on her, it won't heal her all the way, but Arc will. For whatever reason, her Cure doesn't do nearly as much of a heal on her as it does to other characters. I said that, I think I've mentioned that before. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. But there we go. Nice full heal for everybody. But I think Amon's almost dead. He's kind of wobbling. You can kind of see him wibble. He's wibbling and wobbling. Yeah, we're dealing almost... Yeah, no, now he's definitely almost dead. We're dealing almost 1,000 damage every turn with just Yuri alone, so... Okay, here's this Demon Ray again. He's not pulling out his really big attack yet. But even his weaker attack is still fairly strong. Do I mess up? See, I just don't know the timing on it. It's not very good with it yet. I do get it, though. Okay, and this time I use Cure. Okay. Because she can survive a Demon Ray, even if she's not at full health. She just has to be mostly full health. But she doesn't need to be all the way full health. She'll be okay. See, that barely heals anything. And Ignition's gone, but at this point, though, Amon's so weak that we can just go ahead and just attack him over. Even without the Ignition, he's still doing around 600 damage. That's still pretty impressive. And he's doing Demon Ray again. I don't think he does Atomic Dust in this fight. You will get to see that sometime, but I don't think he does it in this fight. Yeah, just leave. And I think this finishes him. Or does this? Yes, it does. I love it that he's finished off by a slingshot. This god of destruction, destroyed by a slingshot. Nice job. Good going, gang. And you want to make sure you... Now, one thing is, if you have the... Oh, we learned Black Hole, which is actually good. One thing is, if you have the Destruction Stone, you actually gain Amon's soul. Yep. So Yuri can now use that Demon Fusion of Amon. So if you have the stone, make sure you have the stone. Otherwise, if you grab the stone afterwards and fight this... I mean, before you fight this, you need to have the stone before you fight him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Achieve it. Behold! Worms who convicted me in Nuremberg 400 years ago. Behold the fruits of your folly. This light, this storm, now is the end of the world! Oh, glorious throne of the Lord on high, Yamato. This is indeed the signpost to a new tomorrow. The medium by which God shall bestow a new future on a world despoiled by human corruption. Oh God, at last the time has come. From the distant reaches of the universe and time, descend now upon this earth! Thousands upon thousands before me have tried, but failed. But I am the one who will finally achieve it! What is it? stop it now. Son of a... 7 days from now, God shall descend to Earth. You can wave your fists all you want. It will change absolutely nothing! Force of all living things, all will be stopped. Soon, death will rain down upon the earth like manna.
We're just gonna casually walk up to Roger's house after that event. Okay, they must be talking about Kadoka. Yes, unfortunately, he raised a giant castle with a heart. This part definitely gives me kind of an Lovecraft feel. Which might be what they're going for, because, like I said, there was an enemy in the last, in the Kadoka game that was based on Lovecraft. The Dark one, the Dark Spawn. So... yeah, that definitely sounds Lovecraftian right there. I don't think it is, but it just sounds like it to me. Since they're supposed to be like creatures from different worlds. Okay, but we got guns, so we're a little better than ants. How's Roger gonna... Is Roger gonna, like, repopulate the Earth with only his children then? I'm a little confused. Are there a select few of people who get to live? I'm confused. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a treadmill. We get to be a hamster. Like, oh my gosh! Holy shit. I did not even notice this until now. Do you see that little statue that's spinning? That's spinning right on top of the belt that's kind of next to Haley's crotch. That is the Scott statue. If you remember, if you beat the gargoyle, the secret boss in Kadoka, it gives you that sword that he's holding. Holy shit, dude. That's an awesome little Easter egg I never noticed till now. That's awesome. Anyways, you're supposed to spin the judgment wheel 3 times. I messed up the first time, but holy crap, I did not notice that was the gargoyle. Dude, that is so cool. I did not notice that was that sword. That's awesome. I think it was called the Scott sword. That's so cool. I did not know that. That's an awesome little detail. Whoa, you're kind of smoky there, Roger. You're smoky bacon. Maybe Roger invented vaping. I mean, some of this stuff does look like vapeware. Roger really was ahead of his time. There must be another way. I mean, couldn't, like, I don't know. Well, I was about to say, couldn't Yuri turn into a demon that could fly? The only one that you would probably have would be the Dark Demon. Oh, no, the bird. Turn into Icarus and just carry everyone one by one, but it's in space, so that I don't think that really works very well. Meme, here we come. Except not right now. We're not actually going to go to Neem for actually a little bit because, well, for one, we had to go back to the hideout, the Sikadoko. But two, with that, we can do the end game side missions and get everybody's secret weapons and do all the secret bosses and make sure that we get the good ending. And I'll also show the bad ending too. I'll show both endings. But yeah, though, there's a lot of stuff we can do. And now we have Margaret, so now we can give her that gun that we found earlier in this part. But there's a lot of things we have to do. We have to get all their special, we have to get all their ultimate weapons, all their ultimate armors, do some other things to get the side mission. And there is another secret demon fusion to get. But you know what? We will start that stuff in the next part. So this has been Yohhamgambal. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Okay, bye then.